Hello to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of Vigilante Vibes, where we talk all things Marvel along with other fandoms, but without the toxicity that's taken up way too much space in each and every fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and today I am joined by the incredible Mo from Blerd Force 1.
Hello, how you doing today?
Great, I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, great to be here. I love talking nerd stuff. Okay, I better say, can I cuss?
If you
I'm
want.
gonna try not to. I'll try not to too much.
No, you're fine. I don't really care too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as I say, I love talking nerd shit. So this is all the sort of thing I love to do, and I love, and I just was listening to you, you and I forget from Nerd Initiative. I'm not sure the guy's name, but your live stream. So I'm like, you guys are doing stuff over here. I love to see it.
Yeah, Ken. Yeah, we're never not moving. It's something all the time, 100% of the time. Yesterday was New Comic Book Day, so it was comic reviews all day long. The day before was writing the reviews. The day before was Marvel giving us the comics. It's always something. Usually by Thursday, I'm able to breathe a little bit.
That's I best say it's hard out here being a working nerd. Right? You got lots to do,
and it's so expensive to be a nerd.
Ooh,
that's not something.
You see all that?
That
see
is
all that?
all
Yeah,
I've been staring
I know.
at. Are those Funkos behind you? That is such a beautiful collection.
Yeah, I think I'm up to 150-ish, something like. That's not all of them. I have some off to the side too because I ran out of space and at some point I've got to redo the whole wall again.
Have you ever?
And it's not just Funkos. I've got action figures and stuff back there too. And yeah.
Have you ever considered taking them out of the box?
Oh, you're funny. I do. You're hilarious. No, never. Why? I have some out there. If you see back here, but I got those from a cousin. They took them out, and I was like, why would you do this?
Oh, I do it every time. Every one of my Funkos, no box.
They got all dusty and everything. Like it's annoying me how dusty they are, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna go fix that. But yeah, they're back. And you also, if you look, and I'm pointing. Let's see, there's action figures back there too. I really liked what was it? The Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I love that movie, and so I found some of the action figures, and but their boxes aren't as cool as like the Marvel Legends, so I took them out and set them up there, and also some little Naruto. It's hard to see, but some little Naruto things. So I'm like, I love all that stuff.
I love the Marvel Legends action figures. We get them from Five Below. They're all so cool.
Do you have Marvel Legends at Five Below?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I need to start going into Five Below then, because I've never seen them.
Like it is.
Yeah.
There's Funkos. There's everything. That's where I get all my nerd stuff. It's random stuff too.
Yeah.
And like my daughter, who's only like, she's young, very young, but she likes all the action figures and stuff. So that's where I get them because I'm like, you're gonna screw them up anyways. You might as well.
Yeah, I tend to find mine in Ross.
Oh, okay.
Ross has a great selection. When I was over Christmas, I was actually in Texas visiting my mom and relatives, and they had a place called Dee Dee's, which is very much like Ross. And I got a bunch of cool stuff. I actually got like the Witcher TV show, like Ciri and Jaskier and Geralt figures, which was really cool. I don't have a place to put them, but I got them. And I got some I think I got an M'Baku from Wakanda Forever. I got a pop for that. So yeah, I spent that. This is all this right here. I waited until they were $5 or something like that. So it is still quite a lot of money.
It is
for me.
I just got a Geralt Funko from Five Below for like $4.99, and I was like, I didn't know I needed this until now.
I'm literally gonna go to Five Below today and just see what's up. Even though I really shouldn't be spending the money, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh, I'll go there and drop so much money. It is such a horrible thing, but it's just so good.
Yeah, I just like having the swag. Other people like, I don't know, buying jewelry and stuff like that. This is my nerd jewelry. As far as no one will ever see it except me and whoever watching my channel or watching this. But I know it's there.
That's what I told my husband. I was like, you are so lucky because some people want a Birkin bag, some people want Prada, they want diamonds. I just want nerdy stuff. And he's like, I don't understand any of the nerdy stuff though. And I was like, that's why I buy them so you don't have to.
What you got to do is to get them to buy you a hot toy, like those $200 $300 ones. I'm not there yet. I'm not gonna be
Not
spending
either.
$300 for an action figure. No thanks.
Someday we'll elevate to that part of the nerddom. But like today, we're
Yeah,
balling on a budget in these parts.
yeah, exactly. If I ever get to like if I ever get to like 100,000 subscribers or whatever, and YouTube finally decides to pay me money, I'm there.
Yeah, I think I would treat myself if I ever reached that level. Granted, I don't. You got to go into this nerdy content creator thing just thinking it's okay if I never monetize, if I never make money,
Right.
because if you expect it, you're just gonna be miserable.
Oh, trust me. I'm just at 515 subscribers now, and I've been at it for like 4 years. And I've got like somebody even said in my comments, they're like, you put out 500 videos and you're just at five. I was like, yep. Clearly, I'm not doing something right, but it's all good. I don't care. I'm in it for the fun. Like on Blerd Force 1. So it was originally called the Super Not Funny Show. Um, and let's just say some people are like, hey, that's a very apt name. And I'm like, fuck you. But, you know, but like it's kind of started as like a John Campea ripoff. I don't know if you watch Campea, but, and sort of like not a ripoff, but also kind of an homage to him because I like John Campea. I don't watch him anymore really, but I liked his show, and like also the Weekly Planet, which is I listen to that podcast religiously. Just a couple funny Australian dudes talking about the things I like, movies, TV shows, video games, not all superhero related. Because yes, Blerd Force 1, I have the Supercast, which, it's a podcast about superhero media, TVs, shows, video games, movies, and the news surrounding it. And, me and my podcast partner, Lottie, we just sit and nerd out about it. And that kind of came out of us, just the fact that we would sit and shoot the shit for hours talking about nerd stuff. We literally one time I went over his place and we were just sitting there. We were supposed to be playing video games, and we spent 3 hours talking about Naruto. Like literally just talking about. And I was like, why are we doing this? We could just record this and put this on the internet. And so it just sort of turned into a podcast. I think Invincible is what started us on that. The Invincible first season. And so I just like to do it anyway. As you can tell from talking to me now, I love to talk. So why not talk about it on camera? Maybe somebody else feels like they want to listen to somebody, talk about these things. And so that's kind of what it is. I'll do reviews and stuff like that too, but mostly I just like to sit and converse with other people about these things because it makes me feel like going to the comic shop back in the day. I don't go to the shop anymore, but I used to go weekly.
Oh.
And I would just sit there and talk with people about, hey, what's going on? What's going on here? And I thought the internet would be that too, and it is to a degree, but it also is kind of a trashy place.
It is.
Where I want to reach through the internet and slap people and be like, why are you being stupid? So it was really like for a while I was existing in this space of like, man, am I the only person that's, not feeling this anti-woke bullshit?
Yeah.
And like I'm seeing like crap like Yellow Flash and Nerdrotic make big money off of being hateful assholes.
Yeah.
That don't like people like me having opinions. And I'm like, where is my people? And then I escaped Twitter, found Threads, and then like I ran across you and like, Joe of Muscles in the Multiverse and the Blerd Without Fear. And there's just like a bunch of people. And I'm like, oh, we are out here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like I can be out here too. Good. Love to see that.
I think I thought the same thing. I was like, there's so many nerdy outlets and podcasts, but none of them are inclusive, are open to other people, or especially
Mm-hmm.
people of different colors, different sexual orientations, everything. So I was like, just party of one here, I guess. It's just my podcast. And then I got on Threads and I was like, oh, y'all were all hiding from the other. I see now, little secret area here. But yeah, like Joe from Muscle Multiverse, freaking love that guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
this whole weird little community we have that really is all on Threads. It's nice because it's just so many people. We just want to vibe. We just want to like things. We just want to dislike things.
Right.
And there's none of the it's too woke. There's none of the anti DIE talk and chattering in the background. It's just us nerding out all the time.
Mm-hmm. I think it also helped. I mean, clearly most of us are progressive or in leaning in that way, or we're open to having more people in the community. But also I think we're also a kind of a counterculture against the what's kind of an unfortunately prevailing in the online internet culture around nerd stuff, which is the people like Nerdrotic who are pushing hate and division.
Yeah.
They say we're pushing hate and division, but they fucking cry about every time somebody that's not a white straight heterosexual dude in any position that of power. And so, like it or not, we're warriors in this culture war. And to me, I want to take a more active, stance when it comes to that. If we're in a foxhole, we ought to be shooting back instead of just cowering and hoping that the bombs don't blow us up. And those guys have been lobbing bombs forever. They Gamergate and all, and I barely understand what Gamergate is about, but I understand it is a kind of a byword for toxic, dudes not wanting other people to be around or have a voice. They want us to shut up, be in the background if we're in the picture at all, and let the default be them. And they're mad that they lose some shine. They don't. That's what's funny about that shit is you lose what 2-3% representation and you cry like a baby whose bottle's been taken away, and you've barely lost anything. It's still you're still running shit, you're still highly represented, but that little loss is it's crazy to me that they flip out. They flip out about it, but we're supposed to be happy with a little bit of representation, and then we have to identify with and understand and get something out of the art form that excludes us. And it's ridiculous. Like if representation, they're like, well, only representation only matters when they're represented. So it's fucking crazy, and I hate it. And I'm just like, all right, well, you guys have spent years being assholes about it, so I'm gonna be an asshole back. I'm gonna be double because I'm an older guy. I've been on the internet since 1997, and we did not fucking play around back in the early days of chat rooms and IRC and all that other shit. We hell, I was on I forget the name of it. The name of this nerd website where it was a bunch of forums. People are vicious, and I have no problems with being like that with people that are being stupid and trying to marginalize me. So anyway.
No, I completely agree. It's as someone who has had many pieces of representation about myself just by skin color alone, I don't understand how someone can look and say, I cannot believe Norman Osborn is black now. It's like, well, first of all, like the hair makes sense now. So we're all on the same page on that. But also, like, does it hurt you? Does Spider-Man, does Thor, do all these big characters who are still white, by the way, are they not there anymore? Is every little bit of representation to you that detrimental to your insecurity as a person? Because a character being black. Sam Wilson being Captain America does not affect you or have any impact on you whatsoever. None of these characters are real. And even if they were,
Right.
you wouldn't say this to their face. You'd
Right.
just be crying on the internet. It's so crazy because people say, like, oh, you're mad because there's not enough representation. And they say, you're crying about it because there's not enough black characters, Asian characters, gay characters. Bro, you're crying about it because another character is black now.
Mm-hmm.
The only one who's in their feelings is you. And I
Yeah.
don't think people get that at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean that there's a freedom to be whiny about things because once you whine, then people will do something about it.
Yeah.
It's some people get to complain about things and then their needs are immediately addressed. Other people can complain about it for literally decades.
Yeah.
And if anyone, they'll just like, well, we'll convene a working group to talk about maybe talking about discussing your problem. And that's the way they approach things. So to them it feels like, oh, all of this diversity stuff, it's been being pushed, it's been shoved down my throat, it's going too fast, all this change is happening way too fast. And I'm like, people have been talking about diversity on TV and shit like that since TV existed.
Yeah.
Like, and they're talking about they want to go back to the good old days. The good old days are when people like me get to be, maids and fucking, busboys and shit in the background of a fucking TV show. So, yeah, we're not going back to that. That's not happening no matter what is going on politically. That shit is just not, you can't put that toothpaste back into the tube.
Yeah.
Because if we ever do go back to that point, America's in way worse a position than we even ever imagined. We're literally turning back the clock 100 years. So since we're not going back to that, we need to figure out how to get to a point where everyone feels like they are being fairly represented in art, because art is a reflection of culture. And if our culture is such that literally we can't have a black person or a gay person or just a minority on screen without someone questioning their right to be there, then we're just, America's done.
Yeah.
Because if the culture is at that point, we can't exist. We can't coexist. It just is. And so we have got to like really, really make it, as I say, make racists afraid again. Right? We have got to make that, like, we are so, I'm not being facetious here, and I'm being 100% serious.
Mm-hmm.
We are 2 steps away from the N-word being normal to be said.
Yeah, DEI is becoming, it seems like they're trying to make it the new N-word. And which is like, that is a slippery slope, man. Wow.
And I'm so serious. We're so close to being to like, Matt Gaetz or, saying it and not getting in trouble for it. And when we're at that point, it's done. Because like, I don't know. There seem to be some touch points that people just, there are live wires that people don't touch, and they're just like, no, we're gonna grab this, and I dare you to do something about it.
It's 100% getting there, because it's exactly what you said. There are really big, just kind of ticking time bombs that people are like, just leave it alone. It's not worth it. Don't do it. And then you have some people like Kanye West grabbing those time bombs.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so what is off limits now? Because you
Right.
hit one of the big ones, and I feel like the next one's coming, and it's coming up very quickly.
Yeah. And by the way, fuck Kanye.
Fuck Kanye.
That dude sucks. I could spend hours talking about everybody who sucks. But I just want to talk about nerdy things. I love, like, as I said, I like to talk about all these things. And in fact, I think it's our duty.
It is.
If we have a duty as fans, it is our duty to connect our interests, our nerdy interests, to culture, and to sort of have these conversations to make sure that we're being better, that we're not letting these chuds dominate the conversations. We're not letting them get away with their bullshit. We're not letting them talk without, let them be in their own fucking echo chamber. But if you pop outside, trust, any of that bullshit comes out of your mouth, you might, as they say, you might have to run the fade. I'm ready. I'm ready to look. I'm ready to have it out with people. I don't suffer foolishness, not easily. Which is probably why I'm glad my YouTube's not bigger, because I will get in the comments and roast the shit out of anybody. It's past time to let, they're in their echo chambers, but you pop out into the real world and you start talking that bullshit. Let's do it.
No, I agree.
So anyway, I don't know why I'm so combative about this morning.
All for the violence. Like, I know people are like, oh, violence is an answer. Hang on. But like, sometimes it is, though. Because a lot of these people with these big mouths have never gotten their ass kicked a day in their life, and it shows. I guarantee you things will change.
I love that you said that, because, like, we read comic books.
Yeah.
Violence is literally the answer.
But there's exciting points in life. It's like, oh, action scenes. Oh, here we go.
The violence is literally the answer. There's some words about, like, Sam Wilson is going to, and when we go see the movie, he's going to be like, America should be this. This is the right thing to do. He's going to have some really nice points to make. And then he's going to throw a shield and start beating the hell out of somebody. So, yeah. Violence is, the funny thing about that is people like, people like, they get all, they get to catch the vapors and everything, like, and I'm like, how are you saying violence is, literally, it's always the answer. In fact, it's usually the first answer.
It wins wars.
What do you think what do you think the police are? Police are violence. Precisely. The military is violence. Laws are violence. Like, just because no one, laws that allow Trump is like, we're not going to be negotiating drug prices anymore, even though it's a law. It's the law. We're not going to do it. Okay, that's violence, because if you don't think that's not going to fucking kill somebody, I have some news for you. So, we have to look at all of this as, all of this is a reflection of where we are going as a people, as a society, our culture, and the nerd stuff is just a part of that. And, we do, violence is just fine to us. We want to pretty it up. It all smells like shit. We just want to put some perfume over it. It is what it is.
I mean, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what you said, because the words can only do so much. We've been talking and talking since the beginning of time, and what has that done? We have a podcast, and what has that achieved? And the world is still getting scarier. People are still doing worse things, and they're still touching those time bombs. So yes, bring in the violence, because that's all they. What are they gonna do, honestly? And I'm here for it.
I mean, I think that you have to speak the language that people understand. So, I do. I think as far as like our space here in nerd culture or whatever, I think as long as we're just continuing to push forward these, the good alternatives, right? And also to take to task people who are regressing us. I've liked some Disney output, but they are definitely starting to be on the forefront of regression. The whole Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur trans episode that they refused to, to air. Which, by the way, if anyone wants access to that, I do have a copy of it. So if you want it, let me know and I'll put it up for anybody to have. That sort of thing where they're sort of bowing to political pressure or whatever to punch down on a very small marginalized group of people who have been punched down since their existence is something we got to take them to task for. We got to give them, problems for that. Somebody like Kanye who's being for shock value doing stupid things. People like the Anti-Defamation League for trying to whitewash Elon's Nazi salute. We got to keep these motherfuckers feet to the fire, right?
Yeah, I need them
and
to
cancel
stop.
people.
I need them to stop using autism as an excuse.
Oh,
That's
hell
been the
yeah.
part. Because, look, my daughter is very, very much autistic, and never once has she hit me up with a Nazi salute. Never once.
Right.
So, and I know quite a few autistic people, and they never let that slip. So, the fact that he did it on stage twice, and then you have Kanye West pulling what he did, you guys, it seems like nothing's off limits anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's as always, and I think this is just endemic of, again, our society. People don't really want to spend a lot of time examining what the things we do and why we do the things we do. But, when it comes to, straight white men and also men in some cases, can just be men. It's an individual action, right? Oh, that's an individual. It is not a reflection of the whole group of people, right? But when somebody else does it, it's a reflection of the whole group of people. That if Bo DeMaio is got some accusations against him, oh, he's representing black gay dudes or something like that. But if Elon does something, he's just one guy and he's just a weirdo, right?
Yeah.
And then there's all the excuse making, and you'll pull up anything, and the whole autism thing, it's just a fucking smokescreen. And it's not only that, it is the most transparent smokescreen. Like, they think we're fucking stupid. Oh, because they know we as progressives, as liberals, or whatever you want to call a leftist, however you want to identify, we are sensitive to people's differences and respect people's differences and make allowances for people's differences.
Yeah.
And so this is just they don't give a shit about, neuro diversity. They don't give a fuck about that. It's just a weapon to be wielded to shut us up. It is all, like, once you realize that there are, on the other side, on the right wing, there are no principles except win and power. Once you realize that, there is no depth to which they won't stoop to achieve power. There is no level. There's no hypocrisy that they won't use to achieve their goals. And so once I realize, oh, they're not principled. They don't have a set of beliefs that they really can. They will sacrifice. They say they're Christian. They will sacrifice their religion to get what they want. If they will sacrifice their religion, which is supposedly, their guidepost, the way they live their life, if they'll sacrifice that to get what they want, other shit, principles don't matter. And once I understood that about them, nothing surprises me, and I respect not one fucking thing about what they care about or what they want. And it has freed me up, and I encourage everyone else to understand your enemy. Your enemy doesn't care about anything except winning and beating you over the head once they do. And once you know that, now you know how to deal with them.
That's spoken like a true comic nerd. I like that.
This wasn't supposed to be a big political rant, but
it just kind of goes where it goes.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Okay, so on that, I guess we should talk about nerd shit.
So you're gonna see Captain America: Brave New World. What are your expectations for it?
Well, I expect a very red president to get beat up by a black man, and somehow the black man's gonna be wrong. Somehow, but at the end, he's gonna apologize about it and say, "Can't we all just get along?" Because this is Disney.
Yeah.
They fucking did that shit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I was rocking with it, and then I was like, oh, we're doing this kumbaya shit at the end of it. Okay. Yeah, all right. Undercut your message, but cool. The whole message up to that point was like it's really hard for a black man to wield the shield because America has not loved us.
Yeah.
And you know, when have you ever been sort of like cornered on this about like, well, don't you love America? And if you don't say, if you say no,
All the
and
damn
I
time.
all I say is I love America as much as it loves me.
That says a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is this. I ain't in no abusive relationship. And it is reciprocal. And let me tell you, haven't felt particularly loved, and in this new administration, not feeling particularly loved. You can get from me the energy. I return energy, right? You come at me stupid, I can be as dumb as you want me to be, right? You come at me hard, you come in hot, trust me, you can get it back. You come in respectful, we can rock like that too. So that's my feeling. I'm like, all right, so Sam Wilson, I mean, he's a soldier, and he's, I love America, what it should stand for. And Isaiah Bradley's like, yeah, I know what it does stand for. Like you're optimistic, cool, and I love that about Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be that way because he's more a symbol of an ideal rather than what's real. John Walker really is more Captain America than we are.
Yeah.
In fact, and that's not fair to John Walker. He is a better person than actually we give him credit for. But he is, I mean, Red Skull may be more Captain America in that sense, if you're being real. So I expect him to go in, beat the hell out of Hulk, have some fights with what is it, the Serpent Society is supposed to be up in that thing too?
Yeah, with the leader.
And then hopefully lead into, give us some breadcrumbs getting into Doomsday and Secret War. And also adamantium. We're getting adamantium. So that's cool. So the great way to introduce a metal that's going to undercut Wakanda, of course, because why won't they? Why won't they just be like, oh, Wakanda, you're not so hot now. We got our own special metal. So there.
It's just wild to me that it's like there was so much built. It's always on some kind of substance. Like the first few phases were these rocks that could just get rid of half the universe. Then it was like, oh, we need this metal, and then they're like, oh, you know what? We need this other metal, and it's like, okay, all right. I guess that's what we're doing now. That's fine. I'm just glad they're talking about Tietam finally because it was getting a little embarrassing just pretending it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, Tiamat Island being a thing that they actually acknowledge exists, that is cool. I'm not surprised. Like it may seem weird. Like why is it always a MacGuffin? Why is it this? Why are we chasing after this? Well, that's the history of humans on Earth.
That's true.
What what did Europeans come to America for? So, the MacGuffin. More this gold, whatever. What do they go to Africa for? For resources. Why did people travel out of Africa? I mean, it's always something. So in a way, it's a very human thing to be looking for the next thing that's going to solve all of our problems. And of course, it's never about getting those resources to spread them out and help everybody. It's always about what? Empowering people who are already in power. So
it's a very human thing, but like you have gods coming down looking for this stuff, and it's like, I just thought you guys were better, but no, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that essentially, well, I think it's interesting because the gods are basically created by us, so
yeah.
Of course they're going to act stupid like we do. They're going to be just like us. They're just people with a lot of they're really super powered people. They're not special or doing anything that we don't understand. So we kind of bring the gods down to our level in that sense.
It's
So, but
true.
I'm looking forward to it. Are you seeing it this weekend?
I'm trying to see it tomorrow, but when you have young kids, it's like everyone's like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll watch them." Then they're like, "Actually, I really don't want to." So that's where I'm at now. Like, I know I'm gonna see it Friday or Saturday, and I've already looked at the spoilers.
Right.
I'm that person. So from what I've seen, I've really liked. I think that so far it's getting kind of eaten up by the critics, like Rotten Tomatoes and all that. But I think everyone needs to keep in mind that not every person who's critiquing that movie is a fan or even knows the backstory of
Mm-hmm.
these characters or what impact that character has on certain communities. So
Right.
the fans who have seen it, I've seen they really did like it, or they found it
Mm-hmm.
slightly underwhelming but still liked it.
Right. Which is, I expect it to be good. Just how good, I wonder. And I'm like, I wish the Rotten Tomatoes would be bigger, if for no reason, because that does affect some people's desire to go out and see it.
Yeah.
But I think it seems to be tracking reasonably well. And they understand Captain America, they know Hulk, so I think it's gonna hit all the right buttons as long as it's good. But also we're kind of in an era where movie going is a little bit depressed. So I don't like, if I had to predict where this ends up in terms of box office, below Guardians 3 probably.
I could see
So
that.
Guardians 3 ended up at about eight 30ish, 825, somewhere around there. So I would say 725, somewhere around there. If it's depending on word of mouth, it's gonna make its money. I don't think that it's gonna do gangbusters. And I wish people would stop acting like that's a problem,
Yeah.
because making your money back and get a little profit is generally the point, right, of any business.
Yeah, not every
So
movie's out here to make hit a billion.
yeah, and also with an understanding that, for better or for worse, these movies are always advertisements. They're always advertisements for the next thing. They're always pushing, and I'm sure the post credits are going to be like, "What? Come back for the next one," right?
Mm-hmm.
And this again is not a bad thing. That's literally what any franchise, any TV show, whatever, is going to like. Stay tuned for the next one, and as long as it accomplishes those goals, it is successful in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a fair few, well, just a couple that I saw, and I was like, I wish I didn't watch that damn movie. Looking at you, Thor 4, but
Which I liked.
uh, I was so pregnant. I was so upset when I watched it. I remember when the movie was done, I just cried in the seat because that was the one thing I was looking forward to through this
Hmm.
entire pregnancy. I was like, I can't do anything. I'm like very high risk. There's nothing I can look forward to. The baby is so far away. It's just like, but
Hmm.
I have a movie I'm really excited for. And then I just sat there and cried, eating popcorn. And my husband was like, do you want to go? And I was like, the post credit scene hasn't happened yet. And I'm still so pissed. I hate what they did. I hate it. I hate it. But
I
mm,
think well, no, that's fair. I
yeah.
think Taika Waititi is, I think he was given a lot more freedom
Mm-hmm.
on the movie, and he, by the way, earned it. He had earned it. He earned the freedom he got on that movie,
Oh, I didn't like
and kind of
Ragnarok
he
either.
went a little too far. I'm sorry, say it again.
I didn't like Ragnarok either. So
Oh well, I mean,
when you say he earned the freedom, I'm just
when I
like,
say when I say earned, I mean Ragnarok did very well
yeah,
box office wise, and also he had done Jojo Rabbit,
I
which
did like that one.
did well, and he won the Oscar for the screenplay.
Yeah.
So he's earned a lot of latitude. And he maybe he went a little too far afield, which is fine. People can sort of like, artists, they're trying to, not guessing, but they're making good educated guesses about what works and what
Mm-hmm.
will interest people, and sometimes they're wrong. You know, sometimes they're not really quite on. Now, me personally, I like the movie. It
Mm-hmm.
was definitely a step down from Ragnarok for me, but I quite enjoyed it. But also, you know, generally speaking, tend to enjoy most of these things anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and if I sufficiently lower my expectations, I can actually have a good time with most of these things. Uh, I don't know famously, but I am amongst our little corner of the internet. I'm like the only person that liked what was it, Craven,
I
Craven the
liked
Hunter.
Craven. I liked it
I
too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, high five. Like, was we definitely I keep defending it. And I'm not even strongly defending it. I'm just like every time I'm like, this is the worst, it's horrible. I'm just like, I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was good. Wasn't amazing, but I thought it was good.
Look,
Um
we came from Madam Web. We came from Morbius. We came from
I
Venom
like Morbius
2.
too.
You liked Morbius?
I liked Morbius too.
Oh my gosh.
I
I
remember
tried so
Morbius
hard.
was funny. Morbius was
It was
funny. I
not supposed to
remember.
be funny.
Well, it was funny in the sense, like the thing is, I was still married at the time. This was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was in there with my ex-wife, and we were sitting there watching it, and I'd heard all the stuff about how terrible it was, so I had lowered my expectations a lot. And I probably about halfway through, I looked at her and I was like, I don't know. I quite like this actually. She was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what people were talking about. This is pretty good. Now, I've watched it again, at least half of it again. But after that, now I was like, oh, okay. I think I see some of what they're talking about. But when I was in the theater, I was enjoying myself. So, you know, maybe I'm an easier person to please, but I can be very critical. Like Madam Web still pisses me off.
Yeah.
Um, but it pisses me off for reasons that are less to do with the movie itself and more to do with the characters and the disrespect for the characters that
Yeah.
was on display. Um, and how, because look, these movies they'll be like, oh, look at this character from this comic book. And I'm like, great, do it justice. And they're like, but what if I don't want to? And I'm like, oh. And so I'm like, all right, so now you've poisoned everyone against Maddie Franklin, which how dare you
Yeah.
poison people against Maddie Franklin? Like, I don't care about Madam Web because that's not even the correct one. She's the second one. She's not even the original one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Spider Girl, or Anya Corazon, how dare you? Because it's hard enough getting good representation anyway, but you're literally ruining these characters for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
That's the unforgivable sin, I think.
Yeah, that's always been my biggest issue was like, thank you for doing this because now when Marvel does get the rights back, they're not going to make these characters again because these are still fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
And I love the Spider-Man characters. I love them so much. And I have been gaslit every time I go to see the movie. I'm like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the time. No, Madam Web, I didn't even see in theaters, which is very rare for me because I go see all of them. But this one, I was like, I'm just not ready. I'm just been hurt
Mm-hmm.
before. And then when I finally watched it, I was like, what is this absolute shit you served to
Right.
me? What, like, taking, if you want, directorial freedom. If you want to make it your own thing, sure. But these are established characters. You should have just made a different movie without these
Yeah.
characters. Because I love these characters. And you guys also screwed over the actors because Johnson and Sydney Sweeney 100% thought they were going to be a part of the MCU, which is also on
Mm-hmm.
them and their lawyers. But
Yeah. And their agents.
yeah, a lot of people are at fault here. And I feel like a lot of people are like, you want to tell them? They'll find out. But you screwed them over too because they were probably really excited to the point that they weren't even promoting the movie anymore. They were embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just a lot of
They
dirty
should be.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam Web it's one of those things. Well, someone lied. A bunch of people lied to the principal actors, and they got to the set and they're like, what the fuck is this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But and they and their performances show. Their performances show it. Sydney Sweeney is awful in that movie.
She is.
She is sh- terrible in that movie. Dakota Johnson is barely better. Um, and Isabella Merced did herself no favors by being in that movie. I'm hoping Hawk Girl, her DCU turn as Hawk Girl, you know, does a better job, and I'm sure it will because James Gunn,
Of course.
he knows what he's up to. But she did herself no favor in that movie. It's just bad all around. There's no redeeming qualities to that movie except for like two performances, which is Mike Epps as a character, just a character, and what's his name, Adam Scott.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah,
name?
Adam Scott.
Pretending to be in a good movie.
I would.
He's doing his best.
I
He's
was
doing his
so
best.
pissed at the end of it. I was like, you did so many bad things that movie, and then like it hit me. I was like, and you took Adam Scott. He could have been something else in another thing. You took that from me. I was so pissed. I'm still so mad. I love that man. I would die for that man.
Well, just think of that's his Audi from Severance. There you go.
I gotta check that show out because everyone's
Severance
all
is
over
awesome.
It.
The only reason why I watched the first season, it was great. The only reason why I haven't watched season 2 yet is because I'm cheap and I don't feel like getting Apple TV Plus right now.
That's my problem. I think I have like a week or something for free, and I'm like, I really gotta choose when I'm gonna use it because I'm not paying for another streaming service.
I barely want to pay for the ones I've got now, so because I don't watch enough TV. Here's the paradox of choice: is not having so much choice that I don't choose anything. But also, I'm content creating. I'm working. I have 2 jobs, so like I work a lot.
Yeah.
And I have outside stuff to do too, like actually living a real life, not on the internet. So and I'm basically right now I'm only really watching things for content's sake.
Yeah. Same.
And I'm hoping to get back to watching stuff I want to watch. Like I don't like non-nerd stuff. I've been watching the Day of the Jackal on Peacock.
Oh, how's that?
A little bit, but I'm watching it with somebody else, and I have to wait for them basically, which is fine.
Yeah.
And another thing I do. This is for me and my daughter. So my daughter lives with her mom in another city, so the way I sort of hang out with her is we have movie night and we have TV night. So movie night on Friday night, TV night on Sunday night, and so we've been going through the Reservation Dogs. But we watched Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur last year. We watched Degrassi because she really loves Degrassi with Drake on it. We went through that. Yeah. Jimmy in the wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
So we were watching that. We're currently going through Reservation Dogs. So we're almost at the end of that. And so that's really my watching for fun. Otherwise, it's just content, which is it's so tough. Like I don't know about your watch list. My watch list is massive, and it's embarrassing, even.
Yeah, and like I'm stuck in this weird thing where everything I'm watching is either for content or it's catching up. It's like rewatching to get to what like. The past 2 weeks has been everything leading up to Brave New World. And then it's going to be whatever. Then I got to jump into Daredevil, which is like I must not have big stresses in my life because that one, I'm just like, oh man, am I going to make it?
I'm not going to make it. I can already tell you.
I might not either. I'm stressed. Because then it's like, do you watch The Punisher too? There's just so much to happen. I don't know.
I was like, I'll watch 1 episode a day and that'll get me to right on time for March 3rd. And that has not happened. Like, I think I haven't even finished season 2 of Daredevil. So Punisher is out the question. I'm going to get to the end of season 3. Maybe. We'll see.
We really got to like push ourselves here because it's coming up really quickly. It's already almost Valentine's Day.
Right. I'm not gonna make it. I already know. So my thing is just get as close as I can, and the recap will probably be fine. I just want them to explain Wilson Fisk and Hawkeye and Echo. I just need them to explain it.
I think
Like,
they'll make sense of it for Echo, but
yeah,
Hawkeye, they're never that we'll never hear about that again. I'm surprised they haven't
yeah.
removed the episodes.
Hey, don't talk about Hawkeye like that. I love that. I love that show so much.
No, I do
I
too. But I
I'm
think
about to say we're
no.
we're
I
gonna
really
we're
like
gonna go
that's
at.
like my Christmas show.
Yes, I
But
love it.
but when he's wearing the Hawaiian shirt and all that, I think it's an eternal situation where they're like that never happened and you cannot
Right.
prove it. That's what I think because the Wilson Fisk we got in Echo was so wildly different and so much more preferred by me. So I think they're going to be like he wasn't in Hawkeye. You're so crazy.
It's what's weird about it is they can't say that because Maya is in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So
Yes, she is.
and her whole show spins straight out of Hawkeye. Like
And
it literally spins straight out of it. So it's pretty hard to square that.
and then you have
Square that up.
Yelena. Thunderbolts is right there.
Yep.
It's like you cannot
Yep.
pretend it didn't happen.
This is I love this about this is actually an aspect of the MCU that I treasure because now normal ass people can understand what it's like to be a comic book reader.
Yes.
To read a comic book and be like, man, I love the way that this is going. You know, I love this character. I love Black Panther in this. This is all great. And to go in another book and be like, that's not some shit Black Panther would do. What are y'all? Who wrote this? Right?
Yeah.
And then just have to accept that that's just some shit that like, and then to come back to the other, you know, the Black Panther book or whatever, and see how that writer sees what somebody else does and be like, all right, how am I going to make this make sense? Because, you know, and some comic writers are quite good at going back to the old issues or other people's interpretation and then putting a spin on it that makes it make sense.
Yeah.
And some of them are just like, this happened? I don't know about that. We're going to just act like it's not a thing that exists, right?
Yeah, this is
And
how I've been trying to explain Daredevil, how he was in She-Hulk. They're like, that's not how he is at all. I'm like, you have never read a comic book because he has so many tones, different tones in the comics. So it does fit. And he fit the show very well. And they're like, yeah, but he wasn't like that in the Netflix show. I'm like, holy Chicago, I don't care. This just jump into the comics and you'll understand and you'll be a little more forgiving, I think.
Yeah. Or just, I don't know, fucking go with it.
Yeah,
like,
just stop complaining.
Everyone suddenly turns into these canon nerds. and the thing is it's not, the shit isn't real. I'm not even talking about the things we're watching. I'm talking about this criticism isn't real. Because if it's not that, it'll be some other bullshit thing to make a point. Truthfully speaking, you just want to, you don't like it and you want to make yourself sound smart in your criticism.
Yeah.
Actual smart criticism is talking about themes and like, performances, what are the messages being, how you can intellectually break down these shows and movies and everything, talking about different aspects of production and all that other stuff. But canonicity is not we do this as nerds, we do this shit, but who cares? You know what's canon? Whatever the fuck the owner of the IP says is. That we run into this crap with Star Wars and Star Trek all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just annoying. Like, you're a fan, your headcanon is not real. It isn't. It's not real. You say Disney's Star Wars, you're like, it's not real Star Wars. Oh yeah, it is. Your fanfic is not. That's the thing is, your little fanfic isn't. What they made is real, and you don't have to like the shit, but it's real. I got it. That's annoying.
It's so annoying because people are like, oh, that actually happened on universe this, this, and this, and that's not canon to what this person said. And I'm like, none of it matters. It is not real. We are all just enjoying it. It's here for entertainment. It's
Yeah.
okay. It is fine. And no one fucking gets that. And it drives
Yeah.
me bananas. Like
Yeah.
that whole time. Oh, well, what was it? When the second Spider-Verse movie came out and they're like, "Oh, you're from Earth 1999 whatever."
Hmm.
And everyone's like, "Okay, so that means this universe is this." I'm like, "It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's just the Spider-Verse. We're all just here
Right.
for the ride."
But you know how we are.
I know.
It's all details. It's all details, and it all goes away if the shit is just great. All this
Yeah.
talk about canon is whatever. This is just, again, when people don't like something, they want to make themselves feel like they're smarter about it. This is why this whole bad writing is just, to me, it's just like, oh, I'm a chud. That when you start saying bad, like, I can say, oh man, the writing was kind of bad on Madam Web, and then I'll start giving you examples of it. Right? I'll just start breaking out. All right, this doesn't make sense here. This is they're trying to say something here, but it's like, it's a weird way of, you can start doing that. If you just like, oh, that show sucks because the writing's bad, and you drop that and then you walk off, I'm like, oh, chud, all right, cool, I can ignore you because you don't have anything actually to add here. You don't like whatever minority, and that's your excuse. So, because people, if you have an actual criticism, you'll lay it out,
Yeah. That's
or
what
they'll
they
say shit
did
like, yeah,
with the Marvels. They're like, "Oh, it's
yeah.
bad writing." I'm like, "It absolutely was not bad writing."
Oh, I'd be like, okay, cool, give me examples.
Yeah, they never do. They never respond to those
Yeah.
questions, and I see that more and more every day. But it's
They'll be
like,
like, oh, this isn't, yeah. They'll be like, it's objectively bad. And I'm like, you don't know what objective means if you say something like that. Because
yeah, yeah,
you can't be objective. Art isn't objective. It just isn't. Unless you're saying, oh, it is objectively red. I'm like, well, I guess it is red. So objectively, sure, it's red. Spider Man is objectively a red, wears a red outfit.
yeah.
Is he objectively a good character? I bet you can find somebody that don't like Spider Man.
It's true. And I
So
just
there,
don't
yeah,
understand how we got so far away from saying, why can't we just say, I just didn't like it? Like, that's
yeah,
cool. Fine, don't. But don't
yeah,
don't bash the movie itself and make it a factual thing. If you
yeah,
didn't like it, you didn't like it. It's not the movie's fault. It's your
yeah,
fault.
exactly. I don't know. I think, and it's all tribalism and shit like that. But also, people just want to assume that you know, they want to say objective because they want their opinion to be the law, and everyone else's to be, wrong. And and I'll facetiously say like, oh, everyone, your opinion about this is wrong, and it's just me being, poking fun or whatever. Uh, because if you don't like something, you just don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about the movie Midsummer. I hate that movie. And other people they love it, and they swear it's such a great movie. I can't. I hate it.
I haven't
Uh,
watched it because everyone's like, there's half of them saying it's amazing, you'll love it, it'll change you. And the other half's like, oh my God, it sucks. And right now I'm just like, I don't like thrillers. So, like, it's cool.
right.
It's all good.
It's you can. Yeah, I mean, it's art,
Yeah.
and your opinion is right in the sense that it's the way you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
But telling other people their opinion is bad or wrong or whatever is weird. I think if the most I go into it is, it's not that your opinion is bad, it's your approach to how you talk about it is bad. Like, you're a bad fan in the sense that you don't give people space to be different than you. You're a bad fan in the sense that you are attacking other people for disagreeing with you. But I mean, if Nerdrotic or Yellow Flash doesn't like Captain America Brave New World, cool. I hate that you went and spent your money and it didn't do it for you. That sucks. But if the next step is anyone who likes it is an idiot, now we got a problem.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. Fandom is, ugh. I love y'all, but I hate some of y'all too. I can't stand some of y'all.
They make me so tired. Like I'm always like, oh, I love other nerds. I love other Marvel fans. And then other days I'm like, man, can y'all just shut up for a little bit? I just want to be alone in this
Yeah,
fandom. Just me. No one else.
yeah. Um, you were saying something about like any comics or whatever. I'm not reading any current comics just because shit is too expensive and I'm
Yeah.
just not gonna do that. But I am on
Fair.
Marvel Unlimited. I've been really enjoying the Marvel Reading Club. It's not a lot of people are participating in it, but I think I want to say, God, what is his name on Threads? Marvel Reader, I want to say
I
was doing that.
I wanted to do it, but he said, "Will you review the comics with us?" And I was like, "I actually can't because I review them
Hmm.
for Nerd Initiative." So I was like,
Right.
I can't do it." And they're like, "Okay." And I was like, "But I still want to." Okay.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you can just read along, and but we've been reading. What is it? Christopher Priest's Black Panther from 1998. That's been
oh,
a lot of fun. Which this a movie. You would think that Black Panther's my favorite Marvel Comics character. You would think that I've read this before, but I have not. And I'm embarrassed to say I haven't. So this was a good excuse to finally get around to it. It has been very not just good. It's been foundational, I think, for the character. A lot of things that are in that run are in the movie, and the two movies. Very fun stuff, and also maybe pointing to, you know, we've heard not rumors, but straight up heard from the mouth of Denzel Washington that
yeah.
he is having a character written for him, and it looking like it could be a Chebe, maybe. And if it is, that'd be dope because he's a really unhinged ass character, villain or whatever, from the Black Panther lore.
Hmm.
That would be great to see Denzel just do his thing with it. We get a little bit of that from Gladiator 2. I don't know if you've seen Gladiator 2,
I have not.
but God, he's the best thing about that whole movie. He
I
really
heard
like, yeah,
I heard so many things
it's all
about it,
right.
and I was like,
The
man,
movie,
movie theater's so expensive though. So
yeah, I get around that by being a member of the AMC list program, uh, which I think is like $25 a month right now for
it's
me.
not bad.
But no, it's Gladiator 2 was cool. It wasn't great. It was cool. Ridley Scott is hit or more miss than hit in the last decade and a half. But I mean, Denzel is. I mean, he's quite. I don't want to say quite good. He's the best thing about the whole movie, and he is just chewing scenery. So if he can do that in Black Panther 3, give me all of that. The only downside is he's probably gonna die because like they don't know how to keep their villains alive in
Nope.
the MCU.
Nope.
So it's probably gonna be a one-off deal, and that's fine. Like I'm cool with that. Um, Beyond that, I've been trying to read all new Captain America for Joe Muscles in the Multiverse. He's doing his read through leading up to Captain America. Sadly, I've been very bad about that one, but I'm going to try to get caught up on that. And I started reading the New Mutants, the old school New Mutants from
Oh.
the early 80s. Just as it's another one of those things where I meant to read it many times over the years and I never did. And X-Men is like my entry into Marvel Comics was Spider-Man, but I was in middle school when the the Jim Lee X-Men #1 came out. Hugely into X-Men as a young teen. The X-Men original X-Men cartoon came out. Me and my sister watched it religiously. So that the New Mutants comic is sort of the backdrop for that era of Marvel Comics. And I kind of wanted to get in and see what what it was all about, and so it's been very interesting and, dare I say, woke as shit.
What? An X-Men comic?
like literally there's a graphic novel that leads into the actual series, and in it, Roberto, who is black by the way,
Yeah.
I saw your interview
Gee.
with what's Guy, yeah, which was cool. I really enjoyed that, by the way.
Thanks.
Um, and I saw that and I was like, cool, that's cool. But yeah, Roberto did get a little whitewashed in X-Men '97. That is just true, because if you see in the comics, he is pretty dark. And literally his first intro is he's playing soccer down in Rio. So he's against another team, and they're beating him up for being half black.
Yeah.
Like literally calling him out, calling a half breed and shit like that. And it's pretty clear from the comic that the people he are playing against are of German descent, which is also talking about the fact that a lot of ex-Nazis immigrated to South America to escape, prosecution as a result of World War II. So there's a big German, they're not overwhelming, but there's a lot of Germans, people of German descent in South America because of that. And so that's the first thing you see about him. It's woke as hell. Like it couldn't be woker. But I don't know, when did comics get so woke? I don't know. Yes, from the beginning, obviously it's also been used as a tool of propaganda and whatever. But, Claremont wasn't playing around.
No, he wasn't. They made it very, very well known about what the undertones will be and the upper tones. It's woke as fuck. And I like how well known that is.
Yeah, except by apparently the right wing nerds. Somehow they missed it. They can watch X-Men and don't understand it. I don't want to say it's infuriating.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating. Name one X-Men comic book that isn't woke as fuck. Just one.
Yeah, well, I would love to say it's infuriating, but actually it's par for the course. To me it's pretty typical for people to miss, to say they're fans of something but completely miss what it's actually talking about when it applies to the real world, which is why allegory is such a pain in the ass. That whole meme about, I know writers who write in subtext and they're all cowards, is funny, but also speaks to the fact that some people will willfully ignore context or messages because it's inconvenient to their outlook on life, or it attacks their privilege. And so they'll suddenly become real stupid and real incapable of, understanding things because it doesn't help them. It criticizes their lack of empathy or their lack of understanding, or I don't know, just being selfish.
I think that was very well said.
So this is super political, and I love it.
I never get political on my podcast, so this was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. But we are getting to the end, so before we do end, God, I can't talk. Where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, check me out on YouTube. It's Blerd Force 1, Blerd space Force space 1. We do podcasts. We're currently doing Infinity Rewatch podcast, so we're rewatching the MCU from the beginning. I also do a weekly podcast talking about superhero stuff, movies, TV shows, video games, that sort of thing, and reviews and reactions, all that good stuff. So that's my YouTube. You can also check me out on Threads. It's Blerd Force 1 again, and that on Instagram, but mostly on Threads because that's my place.
Yeah.
And I'm on TikTok, super_not_funny show, but I don't really understand TikTok, so it's really more I just kind of have it.
Yeah, I have
but
it.
yeah,
and just
come check me out.
It. Just not a
Yeah,
fan.
I don't get it. I just think Twitter is really more where I really cut my teeth in terms of modern social media, and I've never gotten away from it. So
Yeah.
yeah, come check me out. I'd love to talk about nerd stuff, and like, if you want to check out my content and see what's up, that'd be cool too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. You're welcome back anytime. This was so much fun.
Yeah, this was all. Next time, I'll try to come in less hot and less political, and we'll talk about like comics or whatever a little more closely. But yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me talk and having me on. I appreciate it.
I enjoy the spiciness, so no worries from me. Thank you for listening to this episode of the New and Improved Vigilante Vibes. Wherever you're listening, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of my amazing guests or any future episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it and have a marvelous night.